Now, I was tying some flies yesterday, some Dunkeld sparklers. These are the flies here. Basically, well, the original Dunkeld sparkler, when I tied it, it was for the Benson Hedges competition, which was 20 plus years ago. And the Dunkeld sparkler was basically working with a traditional popular fly that worked well in Lochleven and a modern version, so it was basically blending them both together. The original one didn't have some bronze Mallard on the top though. Over the years I've just slowly added a wee bit more to make it more a mix between the two, and especially when I'm tying it for some friends in Ireland, they definitely like the bronze Mallard. So basically that's the fly there, a wee flashy fly. It's quite a nice wee pattern, it does well. It's a very good sea trout fly if you tie it thin enough, or overdress it anyway. Now, hook choice, as I say, originally I tied it on a double from Lochleven. In the competition fishing, you're allowed 4 points, so you could fish 2 doubles if you want it, or 4 singles even if you want it. So, but anyway, that was a while ago. Now, as I say, I still get asked after all these years to tie this fly. Hook choice, as I said, is up to yourself. This is a Full and Mill, it's a competition heavyweight in size 10. I'm just going to wax the thread to get it started, and this is a uni thread in fire orange. You could use a black thread if you want, but the fire orange was originally what I used. So we start at the eye, come down about maybe 4 or 5 mil, and then remove the waste. Now the tail of the fly is Glo-Brite number 10. It's a yellow, it's this one here. It's a fluorescent yellow, number 10, Glo-Brite Floss number 10. Now it's to represent the crest tail, though other colours are now you can use. Obviously you can use a green, like a chartreuse, number 11 in the Glo-Brite, or number 12, which is the lime green. You could use the red side, orange side, which would be number 4, number 5, and the same Glo-Brite floss. Now what this is, it's quite a fine floss, as you can see. That's how fine it is. Now there's 10 strands in that, and what I do, is just get an old toothbrush, just brush it together, and that'll give you a nice floss like tail. Now what I'm doing is tying it the way down just to save a bit of bulk. As we wind down, what I do is I bring the floss into the shank, so spread it slightly and wind, and that gives it plenty of grip. Now I'm going to take it all the way down until I'm just slightly starting to get around the bend, or just slightly by the barb of the hook, and then I'm going to trim this round about the full length of the body, which is about there. I'm using a small gold wire from a rib, which will obviously protect the body and protect the hackle. So we tie this in the full length of the body, a couple of turns just to hold it. You're looking for a large gold. In this case, for this size, I like to use a large gold tinsel. This is a gold silver mix. Again, tie it the full length, and then we just basically catch it in, and then you want a nice base of thread down so you get a reasonably smooth body. Just work our way up. Now you need to give yourself 2.5 to 3 mil from the eye to tie in the hackles, or the hackle and then a beard hackle. Now we wind this up, so we do a straight turn at the back, nice and tight, and then we just work our way up, nice and tight. At this point here, cross my thread, 3 or 4 turns, make sure it's secure, and then trim away the waste. Now I'm going to use a hen hackle. Now you could use a cock hackle if you want. In this case I'm using a dyed hot orange. This is just a Chinese hen dyed hot orange. You could use whatever hackles you have. As I say, cock hackle can be used in this fly too. Dial up to yourself. Just got the hackle now. I'm going to keep a wee bit of the fluff at the top, so I'm going to tie it in at the butt section of the hackle. Just trim. So you've got at least a couple of mil of bare stem there so you can tie it in. Wax your thread so you've got the grip. Use your hackle pliers to wind it down. So a small pair of hackle pliers, catch it in by catch the tip. Now I like to get at least a good full turn, maybe a turn and a half or so at the top, And then work my way down. You're looking, there's 2 turns, there's a third turn. I come round with a turn with the wire at the back, just to protect the back. Follow up with the point of the hackle, tie it in. And that's plenty of hackle, with plenty of movement in it. Fibre length, you can see maybe just slightly longer than the gape of the hook. Now I'm just going to break that off. Now, just before you tie in your wire, just bring it straight up. Then bring your thread with it, keeping the thread tight and away from you. Put a 90-degree bend into the wire. And then obviously let it go if you can. 3 or 4 turns, making sure it's not going to move. I'm just going to tidy this area up. Make sure it's tied in. Just be patient with the wire, it's going to go all over the place. A wee bit of wax on my thread. Just quickly bring it back up to where we're going to tie in the throat, which is blue jay. Now you're looking for a reasonable feather, a reasonable length anyway, you can work with. So I've got the blue jay feather, so there's the fibres. Now I'm just bringing them 90 degrees, you can bring them from the stem, 90 degrees from the stem. Tips will line up, and then you can tear them away. And when you're happy, as I say, tear them away from the stem, roll them within your fingers. Just this, what this does, it just breaks them up, or so basically displaces the fibre so they swim better and mixes the colour really well. Now what I do is a pinch and loop, and you can turn the hook upside down and tie it in, it's up to yourself. Just basically do a pinch and loop down the way. So that will give you the throat of the fly. It's just, I'd usually do just a pinch and loop. I'll show you how I normally do it. It's just for speed, it's just one thing you get used to doing it. So if I come underneath, so hold it, finger and thumb, just pinch the thread, bring it straight up, 2 or 3 turns, and then you can spread the fibre. It's a wee bit long, you can pull it in a wee bit, that's just a wee tad long. I'm just checking the length, and that it's spread reasonably well. Basically what this is a false hackle, or a beard as they would say. We can lift the fibres up, come in with the points of the scissors, and then come in, trim away. Wax your thread, it gives you loads of grip. Ready to tie in your wing. The wing is just a gold and pearl flash. You want, for this size of fly, you don't want to go too crazy now. There's maybe 4 strands of gold to maybe 2 strands of pearl in amongst that. That should be around, that should be okay. Just going to moisten it. Now originally there was a, if you can see in there, there's like a freckle gold, black freckle on it, as well as a plain gold. It was called Freckle Flash, and it just, you can get it, use it. If you don't, it doesn't matter, it's fine, just with gold and pearl. You're looking for a tail length, just slightly short of the tail. I'm just going to slightly straighten up a bit so you can see this. Now what I'm going to do is tie this just short of the end of the tail on the top, 3 or 4 turns. Now the thread's well waxed, and then I fold this back. It will call, I mean, there'll be a slight bump there, but we can hide that, we can tighten on it, and then we can basically tie that in line with the back of the hook. Now that gives you a kind of tapered fibre within the wing. Now the original Dunkeld spackler was just basically, that was the flash, that was it, tied on a double. The flash was that's all you needed, and it still worked. But what I like to do, especially when the Irish boys prefer a wee bit more the natural fibre, so I've got some bronze mallard. This is a small bronze mallard feather. I'm bringing the fibres 90 degrees out. Now that's about a centimetre wide. Tear it away from the stem. We can then lay that on the top with the tips of the fibres just slightly longer than the flash, and we can fold that on the top As you can see what I'm doing there, pinch and loop on the top, 2 or 3 turns. And that should give you a reasonable wing. Trim this away. Now you need to come up slightly further on your side. Don't be shy of the head of this fly. Again, a wee bit of wax so the thread doesn't slip. Now, what I'm going to do here is take the thread to the eye, and then I'm going to work the thread up from the eye, covering the cut ends of the bronze mallard. So we've got at least a taper in the head, just like that. What I like to do, and this may look terrible, but I like to mix the bronze mallard into the flash. You have a nice wing there, and you don't want to do that, but once you start to cast it, it'll do exactly the same as what I'm doing just now. So that gives you a nice blend, a nice mix. Now the jungle cock is an optional thing. If you don't have it, don't use it. It's not. It still works without the jungle cock. So with 2 small eyes here. You can see the underside. As you can see now, I'm holding the eye. I'm just going to draw back these fibres. Basically to the area I'm going to tie it in. You can tie them in individually or together like I'm doing, it's up to yourself. 3 or 4 turns just to secure it, or just to position it anyway. You can see how the jungle cocks sit. If you're happy with the position, both sides, then you can carry on down. Fold back these fibres, take the thread to the eye again, and then work your way up, forming a nice head. Now the fire orange thread's there for a reason, it's nice and bright, it's a colour. Now what I'm doing here is just breaking off the tips. I'm keeping the thread tight when I do that. If you can break off the waste ends of the jungle cock, it's much neater. And then what we do is then whip finish. Always thinking of the shape of the head when you do that. Trim away your thread. See how it's in. Now, that looks okay. I'm going to brush out a wee bit more, just to put in the bronze mallard into the flash. And then for speed, you've seen me doing it a lot of times on the videos. I like to use the super glue. This is a full mill super glue with a brush, so it's easy to apply. This dries really quick, solid, keeps everything nice and bright. Just don't touch the feathers with it, but now that'll dry within 5 minutes. And then you must coat it with varnish. You have to coat the fly with varnish, or the head of the fly, sorry, with varnish, so that seals it in. And that there's your Dunkeld sparkler. So it's a nice pattern. It's good for the rainbows. It's good for the brown trout. It's good. The competition boys like it. And as I say, if you can make a slimmer version, it's a very good sea trout fly. And I'm sure it'd even take grilse or Sam if it's fished. Again, I'd prefer a wee bit lighter, but that's the kind of standard one for the logs. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that, and that's your Dunkeld sparkler.